Okay, so here's the SQL for creating the schema. Drop table statements at the top, and then we have our table for users, doctors, doctor appointments, bolus insulin, basal insulin, the treatment regimen, blood glucose values, blood glucose comments, insulin doses, and comments about the insulin doses. The data load happens in 3 phases. We first load data into the users, doctors, doctor appointments, bolus insulin, basal insulin, and regimen tables. And these are all coming from CSV files. And then this is the actual sort of big data part where we take the blood glucose data that we found online and we have to do a little bit of doctoring to it. So we load the same around 100,000 records for all of the users, and then we drop a substantial amount of the data that's not relevant, and that has to do with these codes here. So once all of that data is dropped that we don't need, then we do a little bit of processing in the next query. So we're actually loading in a lot more data than we'll end up using, so we have to drop, as I said before, these guys down here. And then as soon as that's done, this is a function that I wrote that takes the date from the raw data and converts it into the SQL date syntax. It comes with the American style that's day, month, year, and it needs to be converted to year, month, day. So this just runs through all of the dates and does that little bit of magic. So after this is done, the blood glucose data is all loaded and ready to go. And as soon as that finishes, we'll finish loading the blood glucose comments, the insulin doses, and the dose comments, which are the last 3 tables that need to be loaded in. All right, and now all the data is loaded in, so we can look at counts for each of the tables. So with the exception of blood glucoses, most of the tables have relatively few records because they were just sort of things that we generated for testing purposes. So you can see starting with users, we have 8 users, 3 doctors, 8 doctors' appointments, and then 98,480 blood glucoses. This is what's left after we got rid of sort of the junk data that's not useful. And then we have 8 treatment regimens, 12 records of insulin doses, 10 comments on those doses, around 400 comments on blood glucose values, and then 8 entries for bolus insulin and 8 entries for basal insulin.